13 years of Australian Off-Road Championships. I've done 12 Australian 14 Enduros, 7 International 16 Enduros, and I raced 5 years of World Enduro GPs. I retired in the middle of 2018 and I now run a series of ladies-only off-road events and do a lot of coaching.
Yeah, well, Gemma was pretty out there. She was always the first one away, always the first one outside, full of life, full of beans.
I got into bikes through kind of the normal story. My dad and older brothers rode and all the friends and family. We had a house rule, we weren't allowed to ride until we were 12 and Dad got me a bike at 11 and a half and I had to just sit on it in the shed. I wasn't allowed to ride it for the first 6 months.
The DT175 that I bought for Gemma when she was 11, she was not meant to ride it till she was 12, but then I gave in and said, well, if you can start it, you can ride it. So anyway, she was down in that shed down there, kick, 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 kick. Next afternoon, same thing until it went.
Then yeah, I just started going on some trail rides with Dad, you know, riding around. I grew up on a little bit of acreage. And yeah, it just kind of grew, had a little go at Queensland Enduro, which Queensland Enduro was very strong then, so it was quite easy to get into.
Then we got into racing because of brother Owen, and she loved it.
Finished school, went off to uni. Racing was still just a side gig until partway through my degree, and then it just evolved and changed, and now it's my entire life.
When Jem decided to go to Europe, we'd just bought our house, and 2 months later she decided to go to Europe.
And then World Championships, that was such an amazing experience. I raced the World Enduro GPs for 5 years as a privateer.
I was really excited for Gemma to be racing in Europe. She'd done what she could do here in Australia, you know. That's what she had to do to get bigger and better, and yeah, she just had to go.
I wasn't going to do it because I'd just finished my law degree and I'd sort of promised John that I'd help pay off the mortgage of this house. And then, yeah, a couple months later I decided, no, I really did want to go to race the World Enduro Championships, and then did that for 5 years. Started off with a team, a Greek team, and then went to a Swedish team, and neither of them really worked out. And so I owned a car and a bike and a quick shade and a tyre changer in Europe, and we'd fly over to France 3 times a year. So from sort of 2012 to, yeah, when I quit in 2018, it was very much John and I were the team, and it was a really, really cool thing to do that with your partner. And yeah, travel around the world, and we definitely had some high highs and some low lows. You know, heat of the moment. I yelled at him once for not filling up my camelback. He'll never let me forget it. But yeah, John's support was phenomenal towards the end, and my dad's was phenomenal in the beginning. So I was very lucky to have that support, because I don't know how you'd race motorbikes if you didn't.
When Jem went to Europe, I followed her over there. I really knew nothing about what was involved in the World Championships.
World Championships are tough. I don't miss the racing, but I do miss the adventure and the people and the friends that I met over there.
There was a couple of really tough times for Jem. One of the races in Sweden, we got there and it just looked like the most amazing place to ride. Jem was so excited, and then it just poured rain on the Thursday, Friday before the event. The mud was just the most stickiest clay you've ever seen. Like, I could barely lift the bike onto the stand for her when we'd refuel at the checkpoints. And she had to lift it 100 times through that day. Like, by the time she did the work period at the end of the day, her eyes were just hanging out of her head. And there is no way I wanted her to keep going. Like, it was horrible to watch. She put the bike in the impound, got up the next day and went again.
So I did my last Worlds in 2016. I decided at the end of that season that I was at a point, I was getting 3rds and 4ths, and I wasn't going to get better without more support, but I wasn't going to get more support without getting better. And financially, I had got John and I into a little bit of a hole, and if we kept going, it financially could have been quite bad for us. So yeah, we made the decision. It was in the northwest of Spain, and that's where I did my first ever World Championships as well. So then 5 years later, to race in that same region and have John there with me, have so many friends in the pits, have the support of the Miglio Yamaha team. So yeah, we decided that it was time. I'd done the full circle of the World Enduro GPs. Then the next year, 2017, I still rode the International 16 Enduro, which was my 7th ISDE and the 5th year in a row that myself, Jess and Taylor won the World Championship. I knew that that was my last 6 days, so I got to sort of say goodbye to that. And then 2018, I was still planning on racing the entire Australian Off-Road Championship Series and the Australian 4-day Enduro. Did the 4-day, slogged through the 4-day, didn't want to be there. Sort of said goodbye to everyone at the 4-day as well, had a tear up on the podium. And then we had a sort of month or two off over summer when Fink and Hatta were on and I got married, which was, you know, a long wait for that to happen. And then all of a sudden the racing season started up again and I really felt like I was done.
Since Gem stopped racing, I sort of thought, like most people would think in this scenario as the husband or the wife of a racer, that everything would just go to chill out time, like venture together. But I feel like anyone that's involved with a racing person would understand that they never stop. And like I thought we'd settle down and do nothing, but Gem is crazy for it, so the adventures don't stop, there's just a different place to take them.
For me, bikes, obviously the riding and the racing, and I don't necessarily see myself as competitive, other people do. So for me, the best part about my career in the sport has actually been the adventures that I've gone on. I'm quite an adventurous person, and having the freedom to like load up the van and just at an Australian level, you know, drive down to Victoria or go over to Tassie for a 4-day or get on a plane and go to WA and sort of know people there and get to really experience different places has been really cool. Getting into coaching, it was a little bit of a slow burn. I just assisted a couple of people. Was a demo rider for a few different coaches that had coached me when I was younger. And I started the Fox Women's Off-Road Campouts. It actually wasn't my idea. One of the ladies who worked at Fox, she created the first event as a fundraiser for me and I just went along as the coach. And then it was a great idea and I said, can I please continue that? And I've been running the Fox Women's Off-Road Campouts for 5 years now, moving into my 6th year. And that was really the catalyst. And I realised how much of a market there is in women's off-road riding and now road riding that currently, previous now, hasn't been tapped. And it's been really fun creating those opportunities for women to really feel invited into the sport. So yeah, coaching again, kind of a slow burn, but I'm really happy with where I'm at with it.
I met Gemma Wilson back in 2010 when she joined our elite training group. We were doing physiological training. A physiologist called Tim Cole was working with us, and Gemma enrolled in our program of giving ideas of how to train physically, and along with that had a little bit of the psychology involved as well, and also the technical aspect of riding the motorcycle. Well, Gemma went away and went to the World Championships and did remarkably well, and it's just amazing as I followed that an Australian girl like Gemma would do so well in the world titles with other Aussies, which was great. After that one-on-one training, she went back to Europe, won another couple of the World Championships with the girls in the ISD, which was just amazing. And also Australian Championships followed that. So I hope that I helped Gemma a little bit back in the day, and I'm really thankful that she's using some of those training aspects now.
The girls start off timid, shy, don't want to ride in front of everyone else. By the end of the day, they're super confident, realise that they're capable.
She always was pointing out things to them. So yeah, it was quite easy for her to progress into that. I always knew she'd stay in the industry when she finished racing.
Coaching for me sort of has two different arms. I've got the arm which is people who are new to the sport and aren't doing it because they race or will ever race. They just want to be more confident and competent on a bike. So it's a really relaxed environment. You know, we don't talk about speed or racing, but we talk about all the things that will make you better and safer and use less energy on a bike, so you get more fun out of it. And then I've got the race arm as well. So some really fast young punks, male and female, who have started racing and are really pushing to be faster and get those lap times quicker. And I really enjoy them both, and for really different reasons. And the race side of things for me, I don't do it anymore, but I would never take back all of the years that I put into racing, and I have so much experience and knowledge, and I get to share that with young riders who are as enthusiastic about racing as I once was.
This is where Gemma, being a very, very smart lady, you know, a law degree, well, hey, she's smart. She was really, really good at absorbing everything we talked about and pulling it apart to work out which part needed to suit her. And that's why now she's a great coach, because she knows how to pull the technique apart. She knows how to break it down. She knows how to talk to you really, really well on the different aspects of riding an off-road motorcycle.
The thing that I see Gem getting the biggest kick out of with coaching other women is the changes that happen in a single day of coaching.
Full-time into coaching, running events, working with women, kids, men, everyone. To really get people to feel comfortable to come and ride their bikes more. I think that motorcycling can be quite intimidating. So what I do is offer events and spaces for people to come and ride bikes, whether it's for the first time, maybe they haven't ridden for 20 years, maybe they ride every day, but to come and learn a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of feedback that I'm good at explaining what I want people to do and what they need to do on the bike, and I think that comes from now I have the teaching degree as well. So yeah, my events are all about just having a really good time meeting other people that ride motorbikes. The more you'll ride and the longer you'll stay in the sport, which is good for everyone. And then even when I do race prep coaching, it's still a nice vibe because we wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy it. So everything I do to do with motorbikes is a real focus on fun. I just really love riding bikes. Getting out in the bush and a day on the bike with friends, family is just my favourite thing to do in the world, and the fact that I've turned it into my day job is so special to me. I'm always really gracious that I have this opportunity and I work with so many brilliant companies, but it's what I love to do, so I guess it's come easy even though I've had to work hard for it, and I'm so grateful for it.